We got a packed house on the live Tuesday call. My name's Jeff St Laurent, and I'm thrilled to do these events live each and every week. And that is the consistency that's required in our business. And one of the things I love most about what I do is as I work with people, not only am I teaching and mentoring, but I'm actually doing all the things that I'm talking about. I'm in the mix with you guys. I do these as we go along. I've just done it maybe longer and have had success with it. So now I'm teaching it, having done it since full-time since 2004. And so I help coaches transition to a full-time business. And today's topic is how to grow your audience using videos. Before we get going, all these calls are recorded. They're posted on my website, sellingcoaching.com. Under the university, we're over 50 videos strong in there in terms of the live recorded calls. And then, of course, we've got over 100 videos of 2 to 3 minute clips of just short educational content. So that's a great resource for you. Additionally, it's a great resource. A lot of you have gone through a coaching school and have other coaching peers. I always appreciate referrals, and that's why I do a lot of free stuff. Is I lead with free. I lead with education. I lead with value. And if someone consumes my information and they like that stuff, then most likely they're so inclined to subscribe to my email community. Like on my website, I've got a great free offer, the ultimate startup guide for new coaches. And then, of course, for those of you in my Facebook group, if you go to my website, sellingcoaching.com, right at the top of every page, you'll see a little banner there that says join my private Facebook group. And the Facebook group is hot, baby. I got to say, if you're in that Facebook group, or if you have one of your own, I highly suggest that if you're doing a business and Facebook is one of your primary platforms where your audience is located. But the Facebook group, if you're not in that group, I'd suggest you check it out or join it. Currently, last week, we just launched something called the Visibility Challenge. And that is basically where we can create 30 videos over 91 days. If you go to the Selling Coaching group, check out the pinned post. Right at the top, the pinned post. There's all the details right in there, and all you got to do to participate is basically start by posting your first video. And this year, we did it last year as well, but this year I modified it in the sense that I'm calling it the Self-Defined Visibility Challenge, which means if the recommendation of 30 videos over 91 days is maybe too aggressive for you or not aggressive enough, you can basically dictate, hey, you know what, I'm going to do 10 videos over 30 days, or I'm going to go nuts and do 60 videos over 30 days. But that's a great platform to begin to express your message, develop your message, especially if you're not quite there yet and you don't know what you're saying or who you're saying it to yet. Get on there and start speaking something that you know about and see where it goes. Start articulating your words to see what comes out, see what flows out, and hear what you have to say. And in the meantime, you're doing the real thing, meaning you're getting out there. It's obviously within the confines of the private group, so obviously only the people within the group can see it, but it's a safe community to start practicing on. So if you haven't done that visibility challenge, and some of you on the call did it last year, did a certain amount of videos, so I always recommend if you can always participate again, but that's there for you. And the reason I bring that up today, obviously, and the reason mainly for this particular topic of how to grow your audience using videos is because I'm using the Visibility Challenge right now. We've launched that in that group, and it's a great opportunity to start to understand the power of video. I will say, if you really are having challenges with some of the technical aspects in terms of lighting, camera, how to set it up, where to look, things like that, how do I upload things, and then also from a delivery standpoint, using scripts, ideas for delivery, ideas for creating content. I actually do have something called a course called the Video Creation University. If you check out the pinned post in my Selling Coaching Facebook group, right at the bottom of the text there, you'll see a link to the Video Creation University. It's actually $47, but it's a super comprehensive course. So if any of you want to check that out, like I said, go to the pinned post. You can message me. I'll actually post a link to it after this call, in the event for this call in my Facebook group. So you can have access to that if you want. But that's from the technical side. But from the topic today of in creating videos to grow your audience, like I said, our number one objective of our business is to grow our audience. And so video is a fantastic medium. And I always say this, video is a fantastic medium to get our message out there, for people to get a feel for who we are. like those of you in my private Facebook group, when you start to see each other on video, when I hear someone call in, like today, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, I know you now. I might have just known the name before, but now I see a person's face and I get an idea for their tone and their energy. It's a fantastic way to really convey that in an online, especially on an online platform. Live, nothing can beat a live face-to-face event. When you're in person at a live event, nothing better, for our business to be doing live events like that. That's why if you are doing local live events, if you're using a platform like meetup.com, and that's part of your business model to do those live events, nothing can replace that aspect. But now online, if you're doing a virtual model like I am right now, using the platforms like Facebook Live videos is definitely the way to go. But I'll say that with a caveat, is that it doesn't mean that everyone should do video. What I would say it like this is everyone should at least try video to see if over a certain amount of time they can get better off with it. And I would say like this, can you present well on video? I wouldn't expect anyone necessarily to present well the first few tries. Some people can. But after working, that's why I have the visibility challenge be 30 videos over 91 days. It's like, do your 30 videos, and within over that time, can you start to come across well? Can you present well? Can you be likable? And this is where you got to get past some of those negative beliefs you have about yourself, like, oh, no one's gonna like me, or I look like crap on camera, or look at my nose or my face, or I look fat, or whatever else you might say about yourself. You've got to be able to, number one, take an honest, realistic snapshot of yourself and get to the point where, can I present well? Can I convey a message well? Can I be likable on camera? And that's the biggest aspect is some people don't come across well on camera, for whatever reason it is. But give yourself the due diligence of actually practicing it over time and see if you can get across, because it is one of the best mediums out there online to not only get the facial recognition, but start to convey a message. Just know this, in terms of video like on Facebook or YouTube and things like that, the only reason why people are going to watch is because either they know you, or the topic that you're presenting through the title, and then of course from there maybe a brief description is very relevant for them and of interest to them. So one of the things we got to start thinking about is, which I always go back to when I mentor with people, is where we start off all the time, is who are you helping with what specifically? That's what I call our headline. Goes right smack in the middle of right in our website, right at the headline when you go there, so people know if they're in the right place or it's not for them. But once you've identified that, the more specific you are, the better, because then you can get some topics that are really geared down and tailored specifically for your audience. So you have to remember now when you're delivering your message, well, who am I talking to? Who's my ideal listener? And what title is going to be important for them? So as you start to do your videos, and whether you're in the visibility challenge or not, when you start to create videos, one of the things you want to be doing is coming up with a good title for it, and then a brief description. And when I say a brief description, think about maybe no more than 3 to 4 short sentences that kind of describe and almost, if you will, market what's this video about. So it's almost like the title of the book and then the back cover with a few little blurbs about it. That's going to get people to watch it. Like I said, if they don't know you, then what's going to compel them to watch it? And that's the title. That's why our headline is so very important. So this can also help you when you're creating a video, is to, before you create the video, think about, what's this one point I'm going to be delivering in this video? Because like I said, an optimal length is shorter the better. 30, 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds. So if you can convey a very succinct, powerful message in that small amount of time, not only are the viewers much more likely to watch, for the duration, but then they're also more likely to interact or continue to consume more information because they are quick. And if they liked it, at that point they're hopefully going to want more. So that's what I think about. If in order to create that title and that description, that's where you can sit down for a few minutes beforehand and say, what's the one point I'm going to get across in this video? And those of you that have worked with me and I've helped you with your free offer titles or your headline of helping who with what specifically, or anything we do with marketing, if I'm helping you create a Facebook ad or something like that, you'll know I'm very literal with my topics and my titles. It's like, your first 3 steps in blah, 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 blah. That's one of my classic free offer things that I give to my clients. It's like, don't get too fancy and creative with your titling. People great marketing shouldn't have to be explained. You shouldn't have to think about it, or there shouldn't have to be a story behind it. The user should know exactly what you're talking about just by reading it the first time. So when you're thinking about like a title for my calls, that's a great example. If you look at like in my Facebook group, or if you go to Selling Coaching University, and if you look at the titles to all of my Tuesday calls, they're all very literal, meaning like today is how to grow your audience using videos. It wasn't a fancy creative title. It was just like, the first time you read it exactly what this call is about, and you know right away whether it's something that you're interested or not. And so therefore, if you're creating a video on something, same thing. What's the title? How to blank, blank, blank. The first step in doing blah, blah, blah. And if you do that, now the person's going to know, is this for me or not? So one of the biggest things that I'm getting here is, leading this into the topic of, how do we grow our audience, is the more specific you are with your titles, people are going to know black and white whether it's for them or not. And so many people are scared, so many coaches are scared to commit to something, because they're like, well, I don't want to turn anyone away. But one of the best things you could do would be to turn someone away, because for every person that you turn away, there's going to be a person that actually is turned on because it's for them and they know it's for them. I had a new client join my group mentoring group yesterday, and I was online with him. He is actually from over in the UK, and he's been doing it for 2 years. And I'm like, well, show me your website. And we did a video chat call, and I looked at his website and everything, and sharp guy, sharp website. I mean, everything just right on. But right away, I'm just like, I don't know who you help with what specifically. And then the stuff was general and it was vague, and it covered like 5 or 6 different topics. And right away, I'm like, if I come here, I'm not going to know what to do. I'm not going to know who is this for. I might see something that I'm attracted to, but it's too broad, it's too vague, and I need a yes or a no answer. Is this for me or not? And that's what's going to allow people to move forward, because when it is for them, that's when it's relevant, and that's where you're going to start getting people's interest. That's when you're going to start capturing comments and likes, and then people ultimately subscribing to your database or your email community, or maybe joining your private Facebook group, because it is specific. So now I'm talking about that titling and then that description. So biggest thing with the video is making sure you're really specific with that. So if you are doing the visibility challenge, what I suggest is start practicing your titles. And even if you're starting off and you have no idea what you're saying and you're just kind of warming up, if you will, and just starting to talk on video, then just say, my warm-up video. This video is me just basically practicing and getting comfortable on camera, where I may talk about absolutely nothing, but it's my practice video. That's the title and that's the description, right? So get practice doing that as well, because once you start getting into different topics, that's where you can start. You'll already have some practice thinking about that and writing it. And when I say you don't have to have any marketing experience, you don't have to have a copywriter or a marketing guru, write your copy, for your title and stuff like that, is be very literal. Just what's the one point you're delivering? I'm talking about conscious choice, okay? So, what's conscious choice going to do? Okay, conscious choice, let's say in a relationship. And so just make that your title, like how conscious choice relates to stronger relationships. I mean, that's it. And I'm just making this up off the top of my head, but that's all you need to know is that's powerful marketing right there, because it's, again, people don't have to think about it. So title, description, and then when we start to do our video, one of the things I'd recommend is get right into your topic. So you could do an intro, and I've had videos where I've done intros and things like that. It might be a video intro, or a music intro, or whatever you're saying with your intro, your name and what you do and your website and all that stuff. I've shifted over the years or so to just like, hey, my name's Jeff St Laurent, and today I'm going to give you a tip on blah, blah, blah. And then I go right into it. So people's attention span's really short. So, get right into the content, and go right for it. And it's going to help you keep, on track of where you're going. And like I said earlier, have a closing script, and script to the point where so you know exactly what you're going to say at the end. It's going to help keep your video succinct. But more importantly, with your closing script, that's the opportunity to kind of share with them and invite them to kind of, hey, basically, if you like this, here's where you can get more. And here's where how you can start using videos to grow your audience, or even start to engage your audience more, is ideally you're doing this and or let's say other types of educational content on a regular basis. So of course over time, you start with 1 and then you have 10 and so forth and so on. You could be posting these on, let's say, your blog on your website. If you don't have a website, you could be posting them on your YouTube channel. If you can have it there too, or you could be posting it, like, say you don't have a website, you could be hosting it on your Facebook page if you're using Facebook as a platform. You can create, there's a video tab, just like you'd have in a website. And a lot of my clients to start off, before we do a website, I'm like, let's use your Facebook page as your website right now. You can host all your videos there. You can communicate with your audience. You can send people over to your private Facebook group. You can have an email sign up. It has all the elements of a website, and it's absolutely free. And it takes, 2 minutes to set up, and then get a little header done on Fiverr.com, and you've got your own website hosted free online and in the middle of a tremendously huge platform with unlimited networking opportunities. So with that being said, you can post the videos there as well. But at the end of your videos, wherever you're sending people to, that's one of the things you want to know is you want to be able to send people to a spot where not only will you have other education, but most importantly is you have some lead capture. Lead capture meaning, like if you go to sellingcoaching.com as a for instance, right on that homepage, you're going to see my headline, Helping Coaches Transition to a Full-Time Business with Jeffrey St Laurent. And underneath that, you're going to see a free offer for my Ultimate Startup Guide for new coaches. Additionally, at the top, you're going to see, like I said, a link to my private Facebook group. If you go to my university, where I send you guys for the recordings, for lead capture there, you've got another thing where you can check out my private Facebook group. You've got another free offer, same free offer on my landing page, but it's there as well. And then in every single video, not only like when I started off, today's call and the recording, what I say, go to my website, sellingcoaching.com, check out my, my free offer there, Ultimate Startup Guide for New Coaches. I talk about it there. Additionally, if they're watching the video, there's the chance to text the word selling coaching to the number 44222. These are all forms of lead capture, meaning I'm sending people to a place where I have more things. And then if someone likes it, that's when they can subscribe. That's when people will join my email list. They'll get that free offer and they become part of my email list. They'll join my private Facebook group and they get to see me. I'm in front of them all the time. So this is the marketing that we do within our business, is being in front of our audience. So we use the videos to start to engage new audiences, putting it on different platforms, or a platform where we're primarily, let's say Facebook as an example, because that's where I am, using those videos. But in those videos, having some strong titling, some strong a little description, which again, that's specific towards and relevant towards an audience. And then additionally, at the end of your video, being able to say, hey, for more tips like this, and if you want to use my script, use my script. Modeling is one of the best things you'll ever do. For more great tips like this, visit my website, sellingcoaching.com. You could leave it at that, period. If you've got like a private Facebook group, you could say, or check out my private Facebook group at the link above or the link down below. So it's a great way for people to come over to your audience. Additionally, if you have a free offer, so one of the things I help my clients with when I do one-on-one mentoring or even my group program is not only their headline of helping who with what specifically, but one of the things I work with them on pretty close to immediately after that is, hey, we got to work on your compelling free offer. That compelling free offer that, when someone does come to one of your platforms, like your website, for example, what is that compelling offer that speaks to them that says, hey, here's the Ultimate Startup Guide for New Coaches, enter your name and email and you'll get this. And they go, wow, I want this. This is relevant for me. I want to enter my name and email address. I want to get this great free information. People do that. They do it all the time. And so if you don't have anything like that, we want to be able to create something like that. Here's how you can use it with your videos and or any other things you do, even articles that you write or articles that you post online or your blog, for instance, is use at the end of the video, for instance, if you've got, and I'll just, again, use my own example, my ultimate startup guide for new coaches. So I might say at the end of my video, for more great tips like this, visit my website, sellingcoaching.com. And right on the homepage, you can go pick up your free gift, the Ultimate Startup Guide for New Coaches. It's a great, audio and PDF resource that's going to help you get your business started or launched off the ground. So I could say something like that and give them a reason, not only for more great tips, but you can also get your Ultimate Startup Guide, right? So that's one thing I can do. Additionally, in the actual text, so underneath where I write my headline, and then I write my little description of my video, I can actually write, to receive your free gift, or I have a guide called the Ultimate Startup Guide for New Coaches, and it's an audio resource and PDF guide. To get your free copy, to download your free copy now, click the link below and enter your name and email address, and I'll send it over to you, or something short and quick like that. And then I could actually have the link. And that link could take you to the landing page. So in other words, to give you an example, if you go to my selling coaching group, if you're in there, and if you go to the description, and one of the first things I have in my description is, hey, I've got a free gift for you. It's the Ultimate Startup Guide for New Coaches, and there's a link there. So if you would, an example, click that link, and that's going to take you over to a landing page that I have. And that landing page is basically, I got a quick video, like whatever, 90-second, 2-minute video at the most of me talking about that, and then below there's a button where they can click, enter the name, email, and they'll automatically get that resource guide. This way, I use that in my private Facebook group as a lead capture as well, because I want them in my email community. But first and foremost, that's where you want people. But as you start to use videos, this is another way you can use as a form of lead capture. So initially, if you're starting off, don't start to freak out and go, oh my God, Jeff, I don't even have a website, and then you tell me I do a free offer, and then what's this thing called the landing page you're talking about, and I don't even know what a landing page is, or is that something else I've got to buy and do, and then how do I host this, and you might get all confused and get all crazy about it. But so if you're not there yet, start off where? Get your ass in front of your smartphone and make a video, right? That's where you start off, right? And then once you do 2, 3, 4, 5, you're starting to refine your message a little bit. Once you start to know who you're talking to with what specifically, and you have that headline, right? Then you can say, okay, so now what could my free offer be, right? Don't stop making videos just because you don't have all that, maybe that structure that I talked about yet. Keep doing that because you're refining your message, you're getting better at it, you're getting some exposure. You never know what's going to be created from that work. Remember, entrepreneurship is about doing, and it's about creating that, as I said many times, that imperfect action. And that's where you start off with. So you start doing that, and then just like with the videos, the next video, maybe the lighting gets better, and you work on your clothes. And the next video, maybe your sound gets better, and you work on something else, delivering more succinct point, or trying to get your message down to a shorter amount of time. So work on one thing at a time. Same thing with your business. So as you're working on that, you come up with your headline. And once you're there, then what would be my free offer be? Okay, now once you got your free offer, well, how can I start to use this as lead capture? Okay, and if you don't know some of those pieces, that's what someone like I'm here for. So if you have some of those questions, get in my Facebook group, ask me a question there. I'm also available for one-on-one mentoring or my group mentoring as well. So just doesn't mean you have to hire me to do that stuff, but just ask me some questions. There's plenty of other people that can help you with that and point you in the right direction. But the point is that as you start to develop the videos and as you get better and better on them, and especially once you start using them and decide I want to use this as a medium to start getting my message out there, that's when some of those key elements that I talked about today, the title, the description, and then maybe a link to a free offer in the actual text, and then also in the video at the end of your message, letting them know where to go for more information, and then also you can let them know about either a platform that you have, like a Facebook group, or you can let them know about maybe a free offer that you have once they get to your website or that platform. And the objective to that, again, the why we want to understand is because when people start to consume your information and they like that information and you start to help them and they want more because they're attracted to it, now there's somewhere for them to go. That's the biggest thing is. So as you start to do these, you give them somewhere to go, and that's when people become part of your community. And then the greatest thing now is that once they're a part of your community, then you can be using those videos. They're used on both ends, meaning they're used to attract people to your community, and then they're also used to engage people with the community. Things like Facebook Live and things like that. They're fantastic opportunities for you to get out there and be in front of your people. Calls that I do just like this. They're fantastic opportunities to engage with people, talk with people. We're not face-to-face, but we're interacting, right? We open up this call. I get to say hello to people. We get to chit-chat a little bit. I get to get some of your questions that I can hopefully answer on this call. And then from there, in a few minutes, I'll open up the call and I'll be able to, get some of your questions from there. And that leads me to the last point is basically, so not only how do you grow your audience, but the last point that I want to touch on before I open up the call, and I'll do this quickly, but it's an important aspect here. And I know someone asked that question is, how do you follow up with interest? So you're creating videos and hopefully we're getting some engagement. And that's kind of the whole point is we're creating videos and we're putting them out there and we're getting some engagement, meaning people are liking, they're commenting, maybe they're replying to an email or something like that saying, hey, great video, I really liked what you did, or whatever they're saying. Now, how do you follow up on that? Or maybe, like someone even asked, maybe someone says, hey, I want to learn more about working with you, right? Well, what that means is, or even if they're not saying something specific, if we're only so lucky to get comments like that, but just if they're saying anything, now here's where your main role comes in, and that is to start engaging with people and saying, hey, that's why I would potentially private message somebody. If it was on Facebook, for instance, and someone said, hey, I'm interested in working with you, or made any type of comment, I would follow up with that after, and I would private message them. And I would say, hey, thanks so much for, commenting on my video or just joining on my Facebook Live. I noticed you made a comment about X, Y, and Z. I noticed you made a comment about, potentially how do you work with me? You made a comment around, I love this information. I'm curious, what is it that you love so much? Or what is it that, this information did for you? What did you get from, the video? What did you like most about it? So you're starting to find out what resonated with them, and then more importantly, why it resonated with them. In other words, what are they going through in their life right now where your specific information actually helped them or resonated with them? That's going to lead to you uncovering needs. And when we talk about selling, because I relate everything back to selling, is all selling is understanding a need, a potential need that someone has, that they really want to do something about it. And then more importantly, they want to do something about it right now. And when you have those two elements, it's like this beautiful chemistry, two chemicals you mix together, which create this huge explosion, is now you have the two elements where you have the ability to ask, or in other words, approach, based on X, Y, and Z, would you consider hiring someone like myself as your coach? Or is that something you might consider looking into because you're going after X, Y, and Z? So that begins the qualification process. And that's the whole objective is that as you start creating these videos, as you start getting out there, as people start subscribing to your mailing list, your email community, or to your private Facebook group, that's where either automatically through something called an autoresponder, like on your email, you send them the free gift, and then I say, ask them a question. I work with my mentoring clients. I give them the template that I use for my autoresponder. It's a short, quick, email and says, hey, thanks so much for joining. What was your motivation for, getting this free offer? And I try and engage with those people. When people join my private Facebook group, it's hard to keep up with this sometimes, but I message everybody and say, hey, thanks so much for joining the group. What was your motivation for joining, and how did you find out about me or us? And I interact with those people and follow up with them. I'm trying to create engagement, and I'm trying to find out, where are they in their world? In my case, in their coaching business, where I might be able to help them. And that's the objective of our business. So hopefully you get a better idea of, kind of some of the more technical pieces, enough to just get you going on it, or keeping it simple for that matter. But then kind of the real objective of those videos, in terms of just some of the basic fundamentals, if you will, or components that we can start practicing and then ultimately have with our videos to not only engage the people, but then have a way for them to follow up with. And the other piece is then when you start to work with your videos, like for instance, you might have heard me say earlier in this call that I have a course called the Video Creation University, right? It's a comprehensive course in terms of the technical side, and then how do you present well on camera in terms of ideas and content. So I created that last year with the Visibility Challenge because I had a lot of people who were doing the videos who had a lot of questions, who wanted more details. So what I can do is, and you might see in some of my videos, is and you'll see videos that I'm going to be posting this week, I'll now give a tip for everybody in the Visibility Challenge on maybe a quick technical tip or an idea for delivering content. And I'll say, hey, for more great tips like this, visit my website, sellingcoaching.com. And I say, hey, if you're looking to create great videos but are challenged with it, and that's when I'll reference my Video Creation University. So that's another way of actually being able to actually sell a product, not just to anybody, but I can do it because it's within my group and my community, right? So, but as you build your community, if you have something relevant for them, because I'm giving this tip for the people who are doing the Visibility Challenge, and they might have these challenges. And so now I'm not only saying, hey, here's a great free tip. And the great thing that's great about these tips are, as I always like to tell people, give them the information, leave them satisfied and wanting more versus not leaving them satisfied and needing more. In other words, if I give you the actual strategy, the actual tip, you go, wow, thank you very much. I really like that. I can actually use that right now. And so I'm satisfied. And if it's really that good, that's when someone might say like, wow, if this is so good, what must, let's say, his other videos be like, right? So satisfy them and leave them wanting more versus, leave them kind of hanging and needing more. A lot of marketers will teach you is like, yeah, they tease you and they just egg you on and they just give you enough information where you go, oh, and they leave you salivating. And sure, it can be great marketing and it can lead to sales and stuff, but it's just another way of marketing is nice, quick, educational tips that can leave people wanting more. And then if you can develop a course around it, like I was sharing about my Video Creation University, then there's a viable way where someone watches and goes, you know what? This is fantastic. Imagine if I had a whole course on this. And if the price is right and the value is there, that's when they can convert and they can buy, for, in this case, more of a smaller price product.